Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? Got to get used to these later streams. I'm like right in the middle of lunchtime. I do have my iced coffee though, which is it's gonna get us by. All right. Let's see. BC is in the house. John, Sylvia, Justin, Jason, Marcus. I do see some new faces. If this is your first Etch live stream, go ahead and write first in the chat. Now, if you're a WDD live person, if you're, Geary.co live stream, that doesn't count. If this is your first Etch live stream, 7 p.m. in Germany. Patrick says no sound. I assume nobody else is complaining about the sound, so I assume the sound is working. I'll wait till everybody confirms. Okay, good. We got some firsts. This is good. This is good. Nobody's mentioned the sound yet. Delay must be a little bit longer than normal. Dude, what? The delay can't be that long. Can you guys hear me or not? Okay, sound is good. Sound is good. There is always an inevitable person. We got 135 viewers so far in just a couple minutes, which is fantastic. 1 out of 100 doesn't have their speakers on and blames it on me. I don't know. It's like every live stream that happens. Every single live stream. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, let me just give you guys the agenda. This is pretty much a workshop. We can just treat this as a workshop. You are going to learn all about loops in this live stream in Etch. And I hope, if you haven't seen loops in Etch before, if you haven't played with loops in Etch before, maybe you're not even an Etch user. Maybe you're just here to see what Etch is about. What I'm hoping is you find that looping in Etch is not only fun, it's just very easy. It should feel, in comparison to many other tools, it should feel very low effort while also feeling very powerful, like probably the most powerful looping system you've seen, but also at the same time, very fast and easy to do it. And that's really what we've tried to accomplish. And we're not even, we have so much more work to do to make it even easier. Like, we're not even in the era of like right click or click an icon and see what my dynamic data options are. We're not even in that area. Like, as easy as it currently is, it's only going to get 5 times easier, which is phenomenal. I mean, that's going to be exciting. Dehunzi, what is the schedule? Great question, Dehunzi. Great question. Let me share my screen. These are live walkthroughs. They are full demos. They are, you see everything in action. You could follow along if you're fast enough to follow along. I will obviously pause in some places and we'll take our time. I'm not gonna blitz through every example because nobody's gonna keep up. We want to go slow. We want to keep people around, even if you're a beginner. We want everything to make sense to you. This isn't just for advanced people. It's not just for people who've been around the block for years and years and years. I mean, you could be coming from Element or Divi or Beaver or any of these other tools that don't even really they all have very underpowered, dumbed down loops. And even if you've used those, you know a little bit about looping, but there's a lot to consider here and we don't want to lose you. So we are going to go slow, make sure that everybody stays with us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to launch Etch. We're just going to hop into Etch here. And I'm going to go into the content hub and I'm going to go to this custom post type called loops. And this, Dehunzi, is the agenda. Okay, this is the agenda. Essentially I made a custom post type for every example that I want to talk about. And we'll go to each one and we'll execute the example and then we'll move on to the next one. So the first one is just going to be posts. How, simplest use case possible, how do we loop through blog posts. I got blog posts, I need a blog. How do I loop through them? Let's just get that done. So we're gonna start off easy. That's gonna be our warm up. That's our light work, okay? Next is gonna be CPTs and custom fields, custom post types and custom fields. We'll talk about what is a custom post type, why are they important, why you should be using them. If you're not using them, why you should be in prison. We'll get into lots of detail there. And then you'll learn how to loop through those custom post types, how to create those custom fields and pull in that dynamic data. You'll be a pro. You'll be a pro. You'll be feeling real good. If you've never done this before, you're gonna want to go rebuild every site you've ever built. That's gonna be the downside of this. But the upside is we won't come arrest you and we won't put you in prison and you'll be a free person still after this live stream. Next will be categories. How do we loop through categories, which is not even possible in a lot of tools. Like I don't know, can Elementor loop through categories? Can you do a nested loop like this one where we have posts in category? I don't even know if you could do that. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I try to stay away from those tools, right? But I know for very long amounts of time, these things were not possible. Ooh, store hours. In store hours, we're gonna look at a JSON loop, right? The situation where you have data, but that data doesn't need to be a custom post type. It doesn't need a URL. It doesn't even need to really be in all the database architecture of WordPress. I just have some store hours and I just want to loop through them. Like, why can't I do that? Well, will you be able to do that today? See how that works. And then we'll talk about maybe some component looping stuff and how that should kind of be architected, okay? So if you're ready for this agenda, I need a LFG in the comments. Just LFG it, and we will get started. And I'm just gonna read the comments here. Kevin, in addition to query loops, please also showcase custom for and while loops. We don't have for and while loops yet. We may have those in the future. Yeah. But this is, these are essential, like a loop is a loop in WordPress. I mean, that's what this is. That's what we're covering. All right, good. Got a lot of LFGs, people ready to go. And I do a lot of this intro stuff because like we went from 120 people to 187. See, I had to wait just a little bit for those extras to come in. Like, yeah, it was 60 extra people. That's not nothing. That's not nothing. We don't want to leave them behind. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. By the way, if you didn't know, this is Etch. Anytime you're in Etch, it doesn't matter where you are in Etch, you can get to anywhere else in Etch, right? You can do all your content management here. So I got my posts, I got my pages. Here's my loops custom post type with all my posts. And if I wanted to go to this post right here, which is ironically called posts, I can hit this little arrow, bang, and I'm there. In the editor, now I'm editing this one, okay? And if I wanna go edit a different one, I can edit a different one. All right, I'm gonna add a section here. You can see this post. Looping through posts is the simplest and most common type of loop. You'll be doing this on any website that has a blog. So I'm gonna go to the Content Hub again, and you can see that I only have one post, which is Hello World. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some posts in. Now, in a minute, we're gonna get onto taxonomies, then we're gonna get onto looping through taxonomies and looping through the posts that are in each taxonomy. Let me make sure I have the right mic selected, right? I don't know, I'm getting a little feedback in my headphones or something. Maybe that'll go away. Okay, so I'm just gonna prepare for doing that later so that we don't have to do the work over and over and over again. And I'm thinking the taxonomies eventually are going to be like animals, nature, and people. I think it's just an easy example, right? So I might want like giraffe post, okay? Or giraffe article, okay? We'll just call it that. And I can hit create posts. And that has created that post in WordPress, right? This is not, we are in Etch, but it's doing all this stuff back in WordPress, which is nice because you don't have to deal with the whole 1987 WP admin interface. We will also do gorilla article. All right, so we got an article about a gorilla. We can do a travel article number 1. This will probably be our person. We'll even put one post in 2 different categories. All right, travel article 2. And then I think I got a photo in here of Florida Keys. okay? Because I'm very close to the Florida Keys. I want to go to the Florida Keys. It's a beautiful place. There's my posts, okay? Now, in the very near future, you will be able to, from right here, edit the featured image, add custom fields and edit the custom field data inline in this table, okay? A lot of that is coming. A lot of that is coming. For right now, all we've done is we've created the posts, okay? And I'm gonna go back into, you do right now, because, you know, it's all a work in progress, you do have to take a trip back to this old, I mean, nobody likes to look at this. Who is this inspiring? Does this inspire you right here, this interface? I don't think so. But you know, we're trying to limit the amount of time spent here. All right, so I'm gonna go into these articles. I'm gonna go to downloads and I'm just gonna grab these squashed ones right here and put these in. That should be our posts. Okay. And which one am I editing? Because you know, they like these giant modals. Okay, Florida Keys article needs to be the Florida Keys. We'll pop that in. And while we're here, we'll do categories. Oh, look, I don't even have any categories. Let's come down here and let's make some categories. So I'm gonna say animals, and I'm gonna say people, and I'm gonna say nature, and I'm gonna make sure that this one is in nature, right? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. So it's got a title, it's got a, by the way, if you're gonna loop through things, you need things to loop through. This is like the process. You have to, those things have to exist, then you can loop through them. All right, this is the getting ready. This is the preparation, all right? So I've got my Florida Keys done. You gotta go into every single one. See, they don't give you a table that you can inline edit in. I mean, that would be too easy. That would be too good of an experience, you know? And WordPress likes to avoid experiences that are too good. They like to give average experiences. Not us, we like to give the too good experiences, but not WordPress, not core. Let's do this as, what is this? This is people and animals, okay? Yeah, we'll just do that. There's people in there, there's animals in there. I get that there's nature in there too. Look, come on. Like, you know, it can't be perfect. All right, travel article 1. Let's go with this girl. She's traveling, right? And she's gonna be in the people category. All right, let's go out. Let's go to the gorilla article. This one should be fairly self-explanatory. We need a photo of a gorilla and we need animals, okay? Save, and let's go out. And then let's go to giraffe. Same thing here. Let's get a giraffe and let's get animals, and then we're gonna go in and we are going to delete the taxonomy for uncategorized, which I don't think I can do. I honestly forgot how to make a switch the default. It's been so long. I use custom taxonomies. I don't even use this hardly half the time. All right, we'll leave it. It's not gonna matter. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go back into Etch. Again, you can go back into Etch from anywhere. It doesn't matter because you can get to anywhere from anywhere. So I'm gonna go Content Hub, I'm gonna go Loops, and then I'm gonna go back to our posts that we were working on. So this is our page where we need to loop through our posts. Let's see, I am gonna miss the opportunity to use Harambe. Yeah, you know. Would like to see a slider loop, please. Okay. Here's the thing with this, like people are gonna be like, I wanna see a carousel loop, I wanna see a slide. That's just page structure. A loop works in any structure you create, right? So it's gonna be exactly the same. What we have to understand is how looping actually works, right? And how the queries work and blah, 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 blah. Because once you understand that, as you're gonna see, literally it's gonna be right click, wrap in loop, and that thing is gonna get looped. And so that could be a slide in a slider, that could be an accordion in an accordion situation. It doesn't matter what the thing is, and it doesn't matter what the visual presentation of it is. What matters is how to build and configure the loops. That's all that matters. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we are going to have 2 containers. This one is going to say articles. I'm gonna actually put a heading in here. So, oh, no. Okay, there we go. I was clicking the wrong button. So, articles, or blog posts, or whatever you want it to say. It doesn't really matter. So that's gonna be my intro. This is gonna be my grid. So I'm gonna say blog grid, or I could say article grid. You know, people often, I get a lot of, by the way, I'm getting some thumbs down. Love those too. Love those too. Don't have no idea what you could possibly be upset about at this point of the game, unless you're just an upset kind of person, you know? Which there are a lot of those that come to my streams, and that's unfortunate for those people. But it is what it is. We're gonna move on. So article grid, and I'm gonna put in my article grid an article card. Notice I'm not caring about the loops yet, okay? Article card, and in my article card, we're gonna make these the simplest article cards you have ever seen. I'm gonna do a heading, and then I'm gonna do an image. I'm gonna make this, while I'm here, an H3. And if you're ever in a situation where you need your image or you want your image to be like in a figure tag or something like that, two things that are about to happen to this image element. One is automatic source set support, okay? That's good, that's great, number one. Number two, there's gonna be a button right here that says wrap in figure, or if you right click, wrap in figure will be available in the panel here. But right now you can literally go wrap in div and then change the div to a figure. Oh my God, that was so difficult, right? Like there will be a shorter shortcut to doing that, but it's as easy as that if you want it to be in a figure. And you could call this, like, I often call these media wrappers, and then I would call this media. Okay, so we have our article card with our heading and our figure. General structure, you know, I like to teach other concepts while I teach other concepts, and that is that you want your heading to come first in the structure, right? You don't want the image to come first, even though we want the image to come first visually. Now what I'm gonna do is right click, create BEM classes, okay? And that's gonna put classes for styling on all of my elements in this block. And then I'm able to come here and I'm just gonna say order of -1. And now visually my image comes first. In the DOM, my heading comes first. It's just better structure, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do now is we are also going to take this article grid. It'd be nice if this was semantically a list, right? I can go right click, convert to list, and now it is a list. So that's fantastic too. If I want this to be an article in a list, I can go change it to article, right click, wrap in div, pop that as an LI. Now I can call this item. Now I have a ULLI with an article. Whatever you want to do here is easily achievable. This is the structure that I tend to go with. This is like the best semantic structure possible. I don't necessarily like when the article cards are the LIs because then you lose the opportunity to have an article card or an article element. All right, so that is that. We're gonna duplicate the LI and notice that we're not a grid yet, okay? So on our article grid, I'll come down here so everybody can see. All we're gonna do is display this as a grid. And then, yes, we have a styling panel. You can use the styling panel. I don't use styling panels. I write CSS, but we have a styling panel. If you need a styling panel, no problem whatsoever. I'm gonna do at media, and then when the width is greater than 768 pixels, we're going to grid template columns of grid 3. So we want a 3-column grid when the screen size is larger than 768. So this is gonna make this automatically responsive. Let me go down here and go here so you can see stacks, all right? But above, it's gonna be a nice 3-column grid like I asked for. Now, we're about to loop, okay? We're about to loop and make this happen. Here is the big question when you are looping. Very important question. What are you trying to duplicate? Which of these elements? And I'm gonna do a pop quiz. We'll let everybody put their answer as fast as you can. Okay, am I looping do I want to duplicate the media? Do I want to duplicate the heading? Do I want to duplicate the article card? Do I want to duplicate the item? Do I want to duplicate the grid? What do I want to replicate? If you don't know the answer to that, you can't loop because you're gonna loop the wrong shit, okay? If you want to loop the right things, you got to know what needs to be looped, what needs to replicate. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see in looping. Day after day after day after day after day after day, looping the wrong thing. And then they're like, my page is going crazy, Kevin. I don't know. You're looping the wrong thing. What do we need to loop? Yes. And this is why it's important to understand structure. We got a lot of A players in the house, right? Look at the amount of LIs that were coming in here, okay? So yes, if you loop the article, you will end up with a bunch of articles inside a single list item. And that's not how HTML works, right? We have a list, we have list items, we need the list items to replicate themselves, okay? So when you're doing a loop, you only need one of the things that you want to replicate. We have one right here. Here's one singular item. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to loop this thing. Now, Etch has, I would actually recommend you go to etchwp.com/blog, okay? There are many ways to architect a loop. I would click on this, and it's called the perfect loop architecture, and I would read why the loop, it's not a long article, as you can see. It's a very quick, bite-sized, scannable, okay? But you really need to understand why our loop architecture is the way that it is and why we don't loop actual items. We do not turn the item into a loop. That is a worse architecture. It is a less advantageous architecture, okay? What we do is we wrap things in a loop. Now, you might immediately think to yourself, people who typically object to page builders, for example, and say, oh, I don't want to wrap it. Oh, I don't want to wrap it. I don't want to, you're going to give me wrappers? No, I don't want wrappers in my code. No, that's the thing to understand. The loop wrapper in Etch is what we call a ghost wrapper. It doesn't actually exist. It doesn't actually, nothing gets output to the front end. I'll show you in just a second, okay? All it does is determine what happens to the things inside of it, right? But it doesn't actually render anything on the front end. But as you can see, I'm already looping things. Now, here's an important point to understand. There's this loop panel. By the way, you can put this wherever you want. You can put it over here. You can put it down here. Like these things can loop. They can live wherever you want. I prefer for it to live under the structure panel. This is like my structure of my page. This is my structure of my loop. Makes sense to me that they both go on the same side, right? If I need more real estate, you can get as much or as little real estate as you want. I can fully collapse it down to the bottom. It's a modular interface, okay? We don't have to go into all the details. You are given some loop recipes out of the gate. One is called recent post, which I actually just edited. It's just gonna be posts. We don't need to say recent doesn't matter. It's just gonna be posts, which is nice because as you see, like that's the default. It's already doing what I want it to do. It's looping through, and I'm gonna zoom in here, the post type, which is the default native blog post type in WordPress, okay? We have something called post per page, a key. What does that equal? 10. So what is it gonna do? It's gonna output 10 posts. If you wanted to output an unlimited amount of posts, -1, okay? By the way, these are easily, like if you don't understand this, if you're like, oh my God, I need a hand-holding UI, I need a blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? AI does not understand hand-holding UIs, but AI does understand this. And if you paste this and go, explain this to me, it will explain it to you. And if you say, alter this to do X, Y, and Z, it will alter it, and you can paste it right back in, okay? Versus a complicated, nice, flashy, shiny UI for like, ooh, click here, do this, right? AIs can't interact with that stuff, okay? They can interact with this. So if you're somebody that needs help, this is actually what you want because AI can really help you. And documentation in WordPress in general can help. Like a lot of things can help you versus like learning some proprietary interface and how they do it. This is language. This is the standard fundamental language used in WordPress for what we are trying to accomplish. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Order by date, doesn't matter. Order by, and by the way, all these things can be changed in the future. This is not, important to understand here, this is not a loop recipe for this loop right here. I'm gonna click on, you can click on this one, this little icon right here, see edit loops, and I can go over here, edit loops. Look, it's the same loopy looking icon, right? Same exact icon, takes you to the same exact place. In Etch, you have globally defined loops where you can just, like I could come here and set up all the loops from my website before I even make any loops if I wanted to. But this is where you manage your loops that are available to you. So when I add a loop element, I can choose from any of my established loops, any loops that I've created. So we have this one called recent posts. I can edit it right here. and it's gonna update all of my recent post loops, or if I called this just posts, it would update all my loops that are just posts. So this is where you can come to edit. And by the way, look what it shows you. You have a full JSON output of what the loop is rendering in terms of data, which by the way, this is very helpful. It tells you every single key that you have access to and what value is gonna be output for that key and in what format. There's never any guessing. You're never like, oh, I wonder what keys are available to me. Do you know how many times I've created a loop in another interface and just twiddle my thumbs like, I wonder what keys are available here? Because it doesn't tell you. You have to go read documentation and say, oh, well, we chose to output this and da-da-da-da-da. I can also see the relationships between the keys, where they're nested, how the objects and arrays are built so that I know exactly how to drill down and get to the data that I want dynamically, okay? So this is critical. Critical that you don't wanna be afraid of this. You want to learn to love this because it tells you everything you need to know about what you're trying to loop through. Okay, so we're gonna go back out. Now with this one, I told you this was easy. I've done nothing. I did not do it, I did nothing. It's just doing the work for me, okay? It's outputting those 6 blog posts. What I need now is dynamic data. I've got to pull in, like we have a featured image that we're not seeing. We have a title of a blog post that we're not seeing. How do we get those things? We get those things by putting in the keys that are mapped to the values. Let me go in here and let's look again. For example, let's go in and check this out. I have a thumbnail key if I wanted to pull the thumbnail. I have a permalink key if I wanted to pull the permalink, and it's letting me know there's 2 kinds of permalinks I can pull if I want to. Lou, look at this. There, look, Florida Key, that's what I wanna see right there. I wanna see Florida Keys article. How do I see that? Well, title is the key, okay? So we're gonna go back out and we're gonna take one little trip over to our loop and look at something very important. So I'm gonna scroll in and you're gonna see that it's saying loop recent posts as item. Now this word item is critical. It is the stem for the keys that you are going to use. It's all gonna make perfect sense in just a second. What you need to know about this is it can literally be anything. You can leave it as item, that's perfectly fine, or you can change it to whatever you want. And if you change it to whatever you want, like loop recent post as article, it will provide you with additional context when you're coming back to loops later to manage them or look at them or whatever. So for example, I'm gonna go back to item. I'm gonna leave it as item, okay? And I'm gonna go into my article heading, for example, and I can do this right here. I can do it literally right here. I can do it right here. However you prefer to do this, you can do it. For example, people are like, oh, you gotta know HTML to use Etch. No, you really don't. Like I can turn off the HTML editor. Oh, where did my HTML? It doesn't matter. I can write it right here, okay? Item.title, and there's my titles. Okay, so instantly, that's it. You can write it anywhere. I can write it over here if I wanted to. You don't need to touch HTML code. You don't have to. Why do I have it there? Because it's way better. When you're not afraid of it, it's way better. It's just objectively way better. So I would recommend that you have it there, even if you're not gonna interact with it a lot. It'll teach you some things about how the page is being constructed. And as you get more comfortable with it, it will become very, very, very useful to you. Okay, the next thing that we need to do, see this media right here? It's got a little placeholder value. I can come over here, item.featuredImage. There's my images right there. Ooh, look, I can see that they are not all the same aspect ratio. Okay, aspect ratio 16:9, now they're all the same aspect ratio. Object fit of cover, right? I'm not, one thing you should notice about the Etch workflow is you're never going into panel. You like this inception of like, which panel am I in? I mean, even in block editor, even in bricks, even at you're always lost and like, whoa, where am I? Every panel is open at all times. Like I literally went from dynamic data keys to object fit cover to here's the selector of the thing that I was like, it's just all there at you can move at light speed. When you're not sitting here rambling like I am, you can move at light speed, okay? We're done. We're done here. We're gonna save, we're gonna go to the front end. There's our blog post loop. We're looping through our blog posts. I will tell you that the browsers it's not browsers, it's WordPress, default WordPress. They put a margin by default on all figure elements. We cleared it out in Etch, but to clear it out on the front end, you have to do that manually. That's where that extra space was coming from. Why do they do it? I don't know. The default CSS that ships with Gutenberg is an atrocity. Absolutely should be prison time. I perhaps even, I mean, lashings, like physical discipline of some sort to whoever put some of these CSS rules in. I don't think anything is over the top. Okay. All right, here, it's a joke. Relax. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go chat real quick because we're done. Oh, you did want to see the DOM, right? Cleanest DOM you've ever seen in your life. Okay, let me zoom in here. There we go. Let's bring this up right here. All right, so here's our section, right? Look, there's our unordered list. I open it up. Oh, wow. You get some list items. Open one up. No, there's an article inside of it. There is no evidence of a loop existing. There's no evidence of anything. It's just the exact HTML that you asked for, that you saw, that you approved. That's all that gets output, okay? Very important. No shenanigans. No nonsense. Okay, let's zoom out. Are there any questions? We're about to move on because we're done, okay? We finished our blog post loop. Are there any questions before we move on? Okay, yep, that's, hey, I stand behind my statements, Nick. You can write that article. I stand behind it. All right. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's keep moving. So I'm gonna go to Content Hub. I'm gonna go to Loops. CPTs and custom fields is next. Let's go over there. Here we are, we're ready to rock and roll, okay? So I'm gonna get another one going. Now, what kind of custom post type would we wanna create? Well, first let's talk about why you create custom post types. So we can read right here. Proper content management relies, keyword, relies on the use of custom post types and custom fields. You should create custom post types any time you have a group of content that can be typed. That's like a type of content, right? Especially if that content needs its own URL. Examples would be services, team, reviews, products, policies, case studies, articles, freebies, landing pages, white papers, on and on and on and on and on. Anybody that tells you not to use custom post types or avoid custom post types or just make everything a page, blah, 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 they don't know what they're doing. They just don't know what they're doing. And they're leading you in the wrong direction, okay? They should absolutely be, it's a content management system. And the fact, don't get me started on the fact that this is not native functionality. Don't get me started on that. We can do a 30-minute rant on that, okay? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into the Content Hub and I'm gonna go to Custom Post Type. And we're just gonna create a custom post type called Services. And I think we'll just go service here. Slug can be services. I like to do plural on the slug. Don't need them to be hierarchical right now. Don't need to worry about that. I do want it to be public. I do want it to have an archive. I'm gonna go ahead and create the custom post type. I'm gonna hop over here. I'm gonna create a custom field group called services. And we don't need a description. It's in the post type of services. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna create a little custom post type. We're gonna say service description. I'm gonna go with a text area for this one. And I'm gonna go ahead and create that custom field. And I'm just gonna go ahead and hit save. So what I've done, and by the way, there's this, people, they try to challenge me all the time. Kevin, I don't get paid enough to make custom post types and custom fields for a project. Well, one, you should stop doing websites for $500, right? That would be my first piece of advice for you. Second is, how long did that just take me? We're gonna act like, well, I just slaved over that or something like that. That took, what, half a day to do? The people that say these things, be very careful. Don't take advice from people who just don't know what the hell they're doing. That makes Custom post types, they don't do it much. It makes them very uncomfortable. They get cold sweats. They tell you not to do it because they don't do it. Not because you shouldn't do it, but because they don't know how. And because, you know, it's just, that's what a lot of people do on the internet. You can't fall in the trap of listening to these people. They don't know what they're doing. They just ignore them. Ignore them. Now, by the way, I created services. I mean, I could go in and just start creating services. Let's do, what can we do? What can we do? What kind of business do we want to create right now? What kind of business do we want to create? How about this? Because we did animals, we did travel, we did, what was the other one we did? People. Okay. We'll do animal safari. Okay. We do the animal safari. We'll create that little service there. We'll do a people safari. You can go look at some people. All right. And then we'll do a nature safari. I get it. They're all, you know, it's all kind of nature. It's just, it's not the point. It's not the point of what we're doing here. Okay, save. So without going anywhere, right? And by the way, I'm experimenting with this. This is just a playground right here. This is not even officially launched. Notice it says work in progress. This is like alpha shit right here. But, you know, it does demonstrate the value of being able to, let me whip up a custom post type. Let me drop some posts in there. How about I need some custom fields and we'll just assign those real quick and put those in there. And then bing, bam, boom. That's what we want, right? From our workflow, that's what we want you to feel in Etch is just a bing, bam, boom kind of vibe. Just stuff is just like really complicated stuff gets done pretty quickly, okay? So now we're gonna hop out. Let's take a trip back and let's just see if all of that actually made its way into WordPress. You know, does it actually exist? So I'll hop back here and we have our loop. There's our nature. I mean, there it is. There it is. So now, because I don't have inline editing in the tables yet for like featured image and all that stuff, we might want to go in here and attach some, and in fact, you know, I don't even have the featured image turned on by default. So that's a pain in the ass. We don't need that. It's all right. We're gonna loop through it anyway. But what I do have is my service description down here. The best nature safari you've ever been on, all right? And by the way, this would be where the client edits this, not where you edit it. You will edit it back in Etch in the table. But this is where the client would be editing this content, right? So I'm gonna save here. I'm gonna go back out. I'm gonna go into People Safari. So like right now I'm Bev, you know? And this is exactly the kind of copy that Bev would write. The best People Safari you've ever been on. That's exactly what she would say. You've ever been on. Bev is not a copywriter. Bev can't write copy to save her life, okay? Animal safari, the best animal safari you've ever been on. Okay, save, great. So now I have descriptions, I have actual services in here. I think we're ready to loop through. We got a little bit of dynamic data that we can do. Let's go ahead and launch Etch. Let's go back into the Content Hub. Let's go to our loops. Remember, we were gonna do it right here on the CPTs and custom fields example page. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in and I'm gonna put a heading in here. And that heading is going to say services. So we're gonna make a little services grid. I will put another container in here. This same, like you're gonna find yourself repeating the same processes over and over again. What are we gonna have? We're gonna have a grid of our services. We're gonna pop in a services card, okay? Inside of our services card, we're gonna have a heading and we're gonna have text. This is gonna be the description. I have all that I need for my structure. So I'm gonna make this an article and I'm gonna right click, create BIM classes. I'm gonna right click, convert this to a list. Hey, look at that, perfect list structure right out the gate. I'm gonna call this services grid. I'm gonna call, I don't even need to name that. All right, services grid, what are we gonna do? The same thing we did before. Display this as a grid, and when the width is greater than 768 pixels, we're gonna go with grid template columns of grid 3. Okay, we're just gonna do another little 3-column grid. All right, so we can see we have one item. Get everything in here statically first. Service number 1, all right, will be right here. This, by the way, needs to be an H3, so we'll make it an H3. And then this will be description of the service. And then we can I don't personally want to style the cards. So I'm going to go to the card framework in ACSS, targeting settings, and I'm going to say services card, and I'm going to hit save. And that's going to give it like a base level of service card styling, just like that, for the global card style for this particular website. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm ready to loop. Same situation as before. The difference is I'm not looping through posts. I'm looping through a different kind of post, which is a custom post type, okay? So I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna say on my LI, that's the thing I wanna duplicate. Remember, whatever needs to be replicated, that's the thing you wrap in the loop. So I'm gonna right click, wrap in loop. Here we go. It's gonna give me recent posts off the bat because it's gotta give me something. It doesn't know exactly what I want. It can't read my mind. I'm gonna look in the list. Oh, look at this. I don't have a loop for what I want to loop through. So I'm just gonna hop over here and I'm gonna create one. So I'm gonna hit that little plus sign right there, it says add loop, and I get a new query, all right? I'm gonna name this services, services. Post type is post, but look over here, post type is what? Not post, it's services. That's it, that's all you gotta do. That's the only difference. Remember the people that were like, oh no, I mean, don't create custom post types. That's so difficult. This is nonsense. Just they're talking nonsense. This is so easy. And now you have so much power at your fingertips, right? So this is gonna give me 10 services, or I can say, give me all my services. Look at this over here. Look at what I'm pulling in. I can see that the loop is working. I can see the data that it's pulling in. I can see all the keys that I could possibly need to access, right? We come down here, we're gonna see, oh, look at this. Etch, service description, okay? That is that custom post type that I created right there. It's showing me what the keys are and what the values are. Okay, so I've created this called services. I'm gonna hop back out. I'm gonna make sure I'm on my loop right here, and I'm gonna come down and see, look at that. I made a new loop called services. It seems to be sitting here so that I can choose it. And now I have 3 items. I created 3 services, so that kind of makes sense that I see 3 of them, all right? So now I need to know, what do I put in? Well, it's just a find and replace game again, right? Item.title is gonna pull in, there we go, there's your services, right? This is not difficult. Now here, I've actually never done data from Etch custom fields before. It could be meta, service description, and I don't even remember, I think it's a dash. We'll look at the key in just a second. Okay, there we go. So I don't know, I just guessed. I think Etch will work as well. Yeah, either way, okay? Really, when you go into the loop here and you go to services, you can see the, there it is, right there. This is the middle key. This is the middle key. It's telling you if you write item.etch dot service description, it's just a drilling down to the next level with a dot, right? That you're gonna get the proper output. So, but it also happens to meta is like the universal because it's a meta field. Meta will work like universally. So, but yeah, you can see item.etch.services. Now we're done. We're done. Let's just save. Let's go to the front end, okay? So let's just review what we did. We created a custom post type called services. We created a custom field group and assigned it to services. We created a custom field called service description. We threw in some content, and then we looped through the content, and there it is, right? We put in the dynamic data keys. We're done. By the way, any questions that you have, totally we'll do tons of Q&A, but it's got to have a hashtag Q or it's going to get lost. So hashtag Q, and I will be able to go through those and keep them nice and organized. All right. Are there any questions here? Or are we ready to move on? I mean, have we seen enough? Are we ready to move on? We got a lot of fun things to get to. We're 45 minutes in. We've done 2 loops. Now, my hope is we can speed it up as we go. That I don't have to keep explaining the same basic things over and over again. That's my hope. Okay, we'll see how we do. Let's go to the Content Hub. Let's go to loops. What's next? Categories. Okay, let's hop over to categories. Let's drop this in. Now, I already have categories, remember? I already have categories. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a heading, and this is gonna say categories. And then I'm going to hold Command and click the container box so that I get a container right underneath that. And this is going to be my categories list, okay? And then we're gonna say flex div. This is gonna be our category. And then I'm gonna put in, no, we want a category card. That's what we want, category card, all right? I don't think this should be an article. I don't think so. I think this literally should just be an LI, right? So I'm gonna right click, convert to list. There we go, ULLI. And then I want another heading in here. This is gonna be my H3, and then this is gonna be the category heading, which really I can just say heading inside the category card. And I can just auto BEM that right there. So we'll go create BEM classes and the categories list. I'm gonna say categories list, bang. And then this would be like category number 1. And if I duplicated my LI, my category card, I would get category number 2. And I can see that, you know, they're not in a proper, like I need a little spacing, or I could put them in a grid if I wanted to. This really is determined, like this is just structure. This is just, how do you want to present them is really the only challenge here, all right? I will say, I'll change this to grid. And I just want to show you that you can also, you can edit these at any time, right? So I can pull this out and go categories grid, rename it right here. I can also go to the style manager. I can grab categories grid. I can rename it right here. It'll rename it everywhere. It'll also replace it in the HTML automatically so nothing breaks. So there's a lot of flexibility there if you make mistakes. Category grid, we will go maybe utility class, just pop on grid 2, and now we got a grid. So you could use Tailwind, you can use any utility classes that you've created. You don't have to BIM everything. You don't have to write custom CSS for everything. Your workflow is your workflow. Etch does not determine what your workflow should be. I'm just showing you my workflow as we go through these things. Okay, so what we want to do here, I'm going to delete a category card so we have what we need. I'm going to wrap in loop. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna see recent posts. That's not what I want. Services, no. JSON, no. I don't see what I want, okay? Well, why don't we right click, and I'm gonna show you how we can do it from here this time, right? And I can choose WP terms. And I see this thing called new query. Taxonomy is category. I don't know, it seems to kind of be doing what it needs to do, all right? Now, I'm not sure what my keys are though. I'm not sure what I should have access to. That's okay. Click this little button right here. It's gonna show you everything right here. This is like, it shows you everything, like gray sweats, okay? Okay. All right, let's move on. So, I wanna rename this, okay? Categories. I'm just looping through my categories. That's what I'm doing, all right? This is really all like the default that was given to me. That's it. That's it. I just need to look over here and see, oh, look at this, name. That's what I want. I want the name, right? Okay, let's go back. So now that I know I want the name, I'm just gonna go item.name. We're looping through categories. That's all you gotta do. Okay, let's go to the front end. Bang, there it is. There's your categories list. You can make them links to the category, no problem whatsoever, okay? But I want to show you how to do something nested. We'll do that in just a sec. Well, I don't know. Or do you guys want to see making this a link? I mean, because this could be like you want people to be able to navigate to their category, right? So if I put in like a link here, it's going to put that link inside of the heading, which is actually correct. All right. I would just take the text item.name and I would delete it and I would put that as the link text instead. Okay. And now look at that, save. Let's go to the front end, bang. Oh my gosh, it's a link. Now, what about this link destination, right? It's gonna be item.something, right? I'm not quite sure what it is. How do I find out? Well, why don't I go to my loop? Why don't I go to my output and I can look, permalink, that's what I want. Okay, great. So we're gonna come in here to the link. We're gonna say item.permalink. Bang, save, okay? Refresh. If you can see down there, /category /animals /category /people /category /nature, okay? Come on, Mark, we gotta entertain them, Mark. You gotta keep people around. We're not doing, you know, we're programming here. We're dealing with code. It's not that great. It's not that exciting. Gotta have something to keep people around. Okay, let's move. Any questions about that? It shouldn't, I mean, fairly straightforward. Say, hey, I made a term loop. I said I want the categories. I got the categories. I know how to look at the JSON. I know how to get the keys. I'm good to go, right? Okay. So let's go back in. Let's close these. Let's go to loops. You're gonna see more and more and more power and flexibility unfold as we go. What you're not really gonna see is any complexity really increase. It's gonna still feel like, all that power is still right there at my fingertips. It's so easy to access. I just need somebody to show me one time. Show me one time, you're gonna be good to go. Okay. Hey, code is pretty exciting. Code is pretty exciting. Wouldn't you technically want to do item.permalink.relative? You can definitely do relative. It actually doesn't matter because it's being dynamically inserted. So if the URL, the main URL ever changed, these would update too. So the relative URL is important when you're manually referencing a URL because obviously if the domain changed, you would have to go back and change the manual references. But if I'm dynamically referencing something, it doesn't really matter because that's going to update anyway. Does ACF still integrate with Etch? Absolutely. ACF, MetaBox, Jet Engine. You can pull data from all these things. You're going to get the exact same JSON outputs. You're going to see exactly how they output it, exactly what keys and values you need. Easy money, okay? Posts in category. This is the first time that we are going to encounter a situation where we need a nested loop. You need a loop inside of a loop, okay? And we're also gonna get into the land of query art. Things are about to get heated right now. Things are about to get a little heavier, okay? If you got a beverage, take a sip. If you got a handkerchief, take a wipe, like whatever you need to do to prepare yourself mentally and physically for this next thing. It's not gonna be difficult. It's not gonna be that difficult, I hope, okay? Here we It's easy when it's not a live stream. Don't get me wrong. You press live, you never know. You never know how things are gonna behave. Very unpredictable. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, I mean, you've seen it before, right? We're gonna put in a heading and we're gonna say posts by category. So what we want is categories, but inside of each category, we wanna list the posts that belong to that category. Okay? That's a fun little exercise, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. Category row, I'm gonna call this category row. And I can put a heading in here. Yeah, this will be the category heading. And a lot of this is determined by what structure do you want, what visual layout kind of situation do you want here. And I'm gonna call this H3, okay? So for my category heading, post by category heading. So we'll just say, it does really help to put in like static content and build your way to a finish line before you go dynamic. So I would say get to like a static finish line before you ever try to start doing dynamic stuff. Because if you're doing dynamic and static and trying to figure stuff out of the, now that's real complex. You're making your brain work too much, okay? So if I had this category row with a category heading, I could put a list inside of it, couldn't I, right? An article list, perhaps, and that would be my UL. And then inside of my article list, I feel like I would need an article card, right? Which I believe we already have, article card, but I may have named it something else, I don't know. And then inside of that, we're gonna need our heading, and we're gonna need our div, and we're gonna need our image, and we're gonna put that inside. That's gonna be our figure. And actually, media wrapper would be the better term for it. This would be the figure tag. This would be called media. We've got our heading, we got our article card, that's fantastic. I can also, by the way, if I go to Style Manager, I can see, okay, article card, article card, article card. That all looks good. All right, and so what I wanna do is article card, and I'm gonna go article card. I'm gonna show you what it's like when you don't use the auto BIM functionality, right? This is why auto BIM exists, because we decided we don't really wanna live this. This is not really the life you wanna live. Okay, article card media, fantastic. All right, So article card is good. Article list needs a little class here. Article list, bang, just like that. This is gonna be an H4. Just because we're going hierarchy, we had a H2 up here for this section. We ended up doing an H3 for every category heading. We're gonna be into the H4s for the article card. All right, fantastic. Media wrapper, order of -1, great. All right, so I've got my, my list. Let's go article card. We can make that an article. Let's wrap in a div, make that an LI. Just get a proper list structure going here. You could write all this in the HTML, by the way, if you wanted to. It's up to you what workflow you use. All right, so let's check what we've got going on here. We've got a category row with a category heading that's got an article list inside of it. I think this actually technically needs we should probably let's do a container here. I think our row is gonna have to go in here and we're gonna have to call this categories. Okay? Because if you think of, this has to be a list structure in itself. That's what I'm thinking about is, because we're also doing nested lists here. This would be a UL, this would be an LI, right? Inside the UI, you're gonna get, or your LI, you're gonna get your sub list of actual articles. So we need to list our categories. None of this is required to do the loop, by the way. I'm a big fan of like, well, let's try to teach semantic HTML as we do this kind of stuff. So I want to list my categories. That's going to do this. And then inside of that, I want to list my articles. That's going to do this. Okay. So we should have our, the exact situation that we want there. Okay. Fantastic. Article list, div, article card. That's good. Okay. What if I duplicated this? What is this list? This should actually be article grid, I think. Okay, we'll delete that. We'll put this on article grid. I want them as a grid. There we go. Okay, and then in my category row right here, let's do category row. I'm just gonna go with a gap of content gap or something like that. So we can get a little spacing between our category and our list of article cards, all right? That's pretty good. UL of categories. Let's do categories, bang. All right, I like where we're at. Save. This is kind of the display we're gonna see. Here's the category label. Here's a post that belong to that specific category right here. So I'll say post in category, and then post in category, and post in category. So like I said, get yourself to a static finish line. And when you're at a static finish line where everything seems like it's ready to go and makes sense, now make it dynamic. Now make it dynamic. Okay, so let's see. What do we need to do first? What is the first thing, pop quiz, first thing we need to replicate, right? First thing, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna take a sip. Get those pop quiz answers in. Let's go. Who's first? Who's first on the keys? There you go. I'm giving it now. Technically speaking, you know, Sylvia was first, but I'm going to give the points to Dehunzi. Dehunzi said the cat row. He gave me more detail. In all fairness, that took longer to type. I mean, they came in at the exact same time. I got to go with Dehunzi. Dehunzi gets the points on that one. 1,000 points to Dehunzi. Okay. So if I need to loop through this category row, how should I approach that? Right click, wrap in loop. Done, bing, bang, boom. That's what I'm talking about. It's a bing, bang, boom kind of workflow. Now, what do I choose? Why don't I just choose my categories, okay? So look, wow. Wow, they all just magically duplicated themselves, replicated themselves, okay? So now what do I need to do? I need to go in and get this category. I don't want a static category heading, right? How about I do item.name? Okay, oh my gosh. Animals, nature, people, uncategorized, okay? Now, here's what we're gonna do. Because we are using a nested loop, we know there's nesting gonna happen. I'm gonna give you a rule of thumb. You should always store these rules of thumb in your head. They're gonna come in very handy, okay? Rule of thumb is this. If you are going to use a nested loop, always change this item key right here. Because the default is item, you don't want them both to be item. It won't break, it won't break. It'll break your brain when you're trying to diagnose some things, but it won't break. It'll still work. But you want it to be friendly to look at, right? Friendly to look at. So I'm gonna loop categories as cat. And then I'm gonna say cat.name. So that when I look at these things, immediately I go, oh, I know exactly what's going on here. See, item, generic. Now, if you only have one loop, that's fine. We know what we're looping. Item is item is item is item. But if we have multiple loops in play, you don't want items. No, you want specific things. I want cats, I want articles, I want, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? This creates organization, okay? So I'm gonna come out here, still works. Look, animal, nature, people, uncategorized. Now, we gotta get into some shit right here, okay? What I'm gonna do, what's the next thing that needs to, what's the next thing that needs to replicate? Let's just do another pop quiz. What's the next thing that needs to replicate? We'll do another pop quiz. DeHunzy got 1,000 points already. Y'all gotta get on this keyboard. Y'all gotta be quick. By the way, this shouldn't say div, it could just say item. I think I'm giving you the answer. You probably already typed it anyway, so yeah, you should have already typed it. It's the item, there you go. All right, John Deaton, 1,000 points, John Deaton. First one on the LI answer, okay. So we need to do this. What are we gonna do here? What are we gonna do here? I think we should right click it, and I think we should wrap it in a loop. I think that's what we should do, okay? Now, I don't like the fact that this is called recent posts. That's why I changed it to posts, because it doesn't matter. Like recent is a context that we can make it recent if we wanted to. We can make it not recent if we wanted to. We can share loops. That's what you have to understand. It's better in Etch to do something generic like this, okay? So I'm gonna say that I just want post. That's all I want. And when I go back here, okay, you're gonna see it change, posts. We're still looping, it's all good, okay? But now I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna show you a little magic trick, all right? And this is just the way WordPress works. It's not anything, it's just Etch is able to parse this, and then I think it was Reinhard maybe Reinhardt, maybe Chris, I don't know. But they came up with this syntax of essentially passing arguments, right? Well, there's an argument called cat. And if you pass the ID of the cat, like if you look at these articles over here, okay? Let's come down and let's look at categories. It's gonna tell you what categories, see, nature, uncategorized, this one's in 2 different categories. It's in nature and it's in uncategorized, and it's gonna tell you the ID of that category. This JSON loop preview is the best thing you've ever, you gotta love it. Like, I know some people are gonna look at it and be like, oh my God, that's terrifying. The faster you can get to like over that, right? This changes your life right here. This is a life-changing, people talk about game-changing feature. No. This is a life-changing feature. Now, I know ID 6, right? What if I said cat is 6? I get the Florida Keys article. Oh, that's all I got. Okay. Now, check this out. What if we could dynamically pass a category into this loop? Like, what if all we had to do was make a little token and we could name it whatever we wanted? Category, okay, my shit, whatever you wanted to make it. That's up to you. That's up to you. Now, I want you to notice something, that when I do this as a value, nothing breaks. It's still outputting every single article in the posts. It ignores this. Why? Because cat does not have a default value. And WordPress looks at that and goes, I don't know what they want. I'm just gonna give them everything, right? But check this out, okay? When we go back to our other loop-de-loop, right? This post loop right here, Look at that down here. I can see it sitting there just waiting for me. I can actually come over here. See loop posts, and I can go, wait a minute. I got something for you, right? I'm gonna say, why don't we use that token over there called cat, and why don't we reference this ID right here, okay? And if I did something like cat.id, why did I do cat ID? Well, let me explain this fully to you. I go to this loop. We're looping it as cat. ID is one of the keys available in cat, right? So if I come down here to this loop and I go, hey, why don't you just use cat ID for the ID for this particular loop? See, that's not every loop, that's just this loop. See, over here, I can do things for every loop, but right here, I can do things for just this loop, all right? And so I'm just saying, hey, why don't you go add the cat ID up there? And instantly, look at this, it's got 3, this got 1, this got 2, this got 1, okay? So we come in here, and what do? We just start replacing stuff, okay? So I could do this, right? And this is item.title, okay? Bang, travel article 2, gorilla article, giraffe article, things just start coming to life. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna do item.featured image, woo, all coming to life. Save, view on the front end. We now have posts by category. Here's animals and all the animal posts. Here's nature and all the nature posts. It's doing that figure thing again because Gutenberg is garbage. So I'm just gonna go in here, clear out the margin, 0 on my figures. I'm also gonna go to my categories list. I'll say gap of container gap instead of content gap. Refresh on the front end. Things are a bit tighter now, okay? So, man. Let's see, learn WP. These are the actual keys used on the front end, not REST API specific things that don't show up on the front end. Hell yeah. I mean, come on now. But I mean, we're not even done. So let's just, I know that's probably like, whoa. Look, this is recorded. You could go back and watch. You could put it on half speed. You could do whatever you need to do to study. We got to move on. I got 20 minutes left and we still got a lot of questions to get to. Okay, let's go to Content Hub. Let's go back to loops. We did posting, store hours. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorites. Read this right here. When the data you're looping through doesn't need its own URL, you can use JSON data. This results in a much simpler architecture and faster rendering. Now, the rendering's already lightning fast, but if you have a ton of data, obviously, going to a database to retrieve data and all that stuff is it's more time consuming than instantly available data, right? JSON is instantly available data. And this is a perfect example. Would you make a store hours CPT and then make a Monday post and a Tuesday post and a Wednesday? Why? What are you doing that? Nobody needs to go to Monday. It's not a URL. You're not even gonna do anything with it. There's not gonna be a template associated with Monday's hours. It's just data you need to loop through. It's raw data that you need to loop through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a section right here and I'm gonna put a heading in and we're gonna call this store hours. And then I'm gonna put a container next to it and I'm gonna call this store hours. And then I'm just gonna think about what I want my structure to be. I know I probably need a row, like a day row. Like here's the day. This is gonna be store hours. I need a day row. What do I need inside of my day row? Why don't I put some text in there? This would be the day. This would be like Monday, okay? What else do I need in there? I might want the opening hours. I might want the closing hours. So I'm gonna go bang, bang. I'm gonna say opening hours. And now you could abbreviate. I'm against abbreviations. They don't make any sense when you come back 6 months later. Just spell the shit out. It's not that big of a deal. So I got day row, day, opening hours, closing hours. I kind of want these grouped. You'll see why in just a second. Because when I go day, actually, let me auto BIM this. Right click, create BIM classes. I'm gonna come down here. I'll display this as flex. I will flex direction of row. I will justify content as space between. And I don't want that to happen right there. So I'm gonna right click, wrap in div, drop that into the div as well, call this hours, and then I'm gonna say day How did I bend this? Store hours, day row. Okay, perfect. So day row hours, bang, just like that. And I'm gonna say, again, display that as flex, gap of content gap, bang. This would be like 9 a.m. Notice what I'm doing. Static, 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 static. Don't start dynamic. Only do static. It becomes dynamic after you see it working statically, okay? 1 p.m., something like that. I want a dash always between them. Right angle bracket, select everything. Actually select what are we doing? Okay, select the last child. Select the last child, and then I want to do a before pseudo element. Give me a dash for the content. I want to go back here and actually close out no gap because I want this to be margin inline of 1em, of 0.5em, bang, okay? Dynamically add a dash. You shouldn't put a dash in there, like physically, don't do that, don't do that. There's better ways to do it. There's better ways to do it, okay? So this is nice and dynamic. It's always gonna have a dash. It's always gonna have the same spacing. It's gonna be nice, all right? So now I've got this working statically, I think. Let's duplicate, oh, I see, I don't have enough spacing, okay? So what we're gonna do is we have a wrapper, this store hours row right here, gap of content gap, bang, put that, oh, I want content gap divided by 2, okay. See the calc auto completion? I don't have to sit here and write all these functions out all the time. It's just bang, 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 bang. You know, bing, bang, boom. Things just appear. It's real nice, okay? Why don't we come in here to store hours and, or actually, let's do the hours block. I'm not doing a good job with these. I'm trying to move quick because we're running out of time. Hours block, let's go padding of space XL, bang. Let's go background of base. Let's just try base, dark, base, semi-dark. Background. Background doesn't work very well. Base, dark, there we go. And then go border radius of radius, bang, radius, expand, thank you, okay. So we got a little store hours here. Let's go to the front end and check it out. Bang, look at that, very nice, very nice. Now, go to JSON, right? Watch this, watch this. Let's say, Kevin, I don't know what JSON is. I don't know. I don't know what you got a Jason, you got a Frank, you got a David. I don't even know what we're doing here. Who is Jason? Who is this guy? You could be at that level right here. That's okay. That's okay. Watch what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the loop manager. We're gonna add a loop and we're gonna come down here and we're gonna say, now I made one right here. I'm gonna delete that. We don't wanna look at that. We wanna pretend like we don't know what we're doing, okay? Store hours. I'm just gonna call it, I know that far, I can get that far, right? Now I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna say JSON data. It's gonna give me some sample data, okay? I'm gonna go over here, whatever LLM you love, whatever LLM you like, okay? And go, hey, I need JSON syntax for store hours. It should cover Monday through Sunday and show times in US format, okay? So here's what we're just gonna see what gets spit back. We're gonna rock and roll with it. Look at this. Look at this. This JSON data being spit back. Okay, bing, bam, boom, copy, paste. It's got the day, it's got the open, it's got the close. Okay. Now it's also got this. This close is closed. I might ask it to add a little bit of a key to it. I don't know, because I want to throw some logic in on you. I want to throw some conditional logic in on you, perhaps. We'll start with this, then we'll talk about maybe throwing some conditional logic in. Okay. All right. So all we need to do, let's hop out of here. First of all, we need to know what in the world do we loop through? Well, I got these things called a day row. I need more of those things. That's what I need. I need more day rows. Okay. Right click. Wrap in loop. Here you go. We're going to come down here. We're going to choose store hours. Holy smokes. Look at this. Okay. Item.day. Oh gosh. Item.opening. Wasn't it called opening? I don't know what it was called. What was it called? Click on the loop. There it is right here. Open, bang, okay? Open, there you go. 9 a.m. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. This would be close, item.close, bang, looping through. There's close, close down here. All right. I mean, does it get any, bing, bang, what do we talk about? You need it's a bing, bang, boom kind of feeling that we're trying to generate here, okay? All right, I can close that up. Notice I didn't know Jason from David from Frank. I got store hours because LLM helped me. I just copied and pasted. I know how a loop works in Etch. Just copied and pasted some data. Now I'm free to go in. You're like, oh, Kevin, how do you edit your store hours? Pop into the loop manager. Grab your store hours. Look at this. We're going to say Tuesday, 8 a.m., 6 p.m. We're going to say Wednesday. We start a little later on Wednesday. Close a little earlier on Wednesday. And then Saturday, we're going to be closed there. And here we're going to be closed as well. Save. And then I'm going to pop out of here. Bang, my hours are updated. By the way, I can do that from any page that I want. Let's go to store hours. Let's refresh. There's our store hours. I'm going to close this, close this. Let's go somewhere else in, I could be on a damn page. I could be on my home page. Here, my home page is blank. That doesn't matter. I'm going to open the loop manager. I'm going to go to store hours. I'm going to say, Saturday, you know what? We are suddenly open. Only till 1 p.m. though. Only till 1 p.m. I'm going to go over here. This is the front end of the website. Store open Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Why? Because you can get anywhere at any time. You got global data. You're just managing global data. That's all it is. Fantastic, right? Now we could put in a little bit of a conditional logic here to control how this is done. We could delete this entire day if we're closed. Don't even show the day if we're closed. You could do all of that stuff. If you want to take a look at how that might work, we can. I got about 12 minutes though for, we might say a little longer. Depends on questions. Okay. Damn, he didn't do the quiz and I was ready. I believe you, John. I believe you. I mean, you and DeHunzi tied with 1,000 points, so. Okay, so Mark says, this is great until the client needs to edit the hours. That's the thing, Mark. We got to think ahead. Because what you don't see is the vision. Because this, with the click of a button, at some point in the near future, okay? The click of a button, these could all be exposed to the client way back in WP admin. Just saying. They could just bang, boom, like a page just manufactures for store hours, or maybe in a special little section, however we decide to do it. This is so easy to expose back to the client. It's not even funny. You just click one button, boom, now they got it. They got a whole store hours panel that they can do. That's one. Two, this could be external to the website. What if you have a client that's like, I would just like to, I've been using Google Sheets lately. I would just like to update our store hours in a Google Sheet. Okay, Mr. Client, you update that in a Google Sheet. And you know what you do? Instead of JSON string, you're going to choose an external source. And then you're going to put in that Google Sheet as the external source. And now the client can manage their hours from a Google Sheet. What you're seeing here is easily built upon, okay? There's going to be so much that we can expose to the client to make it as easy as you could possibly want it. You could build your own agency-based login dashboard where people can manage their store hours, custom experience, whatever you want to do, and it can still get piped right back into your website. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And it'll be bing, bang, boom at that point too. All right, here we go. Let's get out of here. Now, what do we want to do? Let's go back here. Let's go edit with Etch. Here we were with store hours. Let's go answer some questions. How about that? #Q. All right. Be cool. Show looping many blogs into one loop, like if we're using ACF. Okay, I think we did that. Will there be a way to integrate AI with an API into Etch so it'll be possible to build sections, elements, etc.? There will be an AI native inside of Etch trained on the Etch interface. So for example, it will know where to put the HTML. It will know where to put the CSS. It'll be able to nest CSS for you. It'll default to nesting because that's the syntax that we use. It'll be able to name your structure panel for you. Whatever you want to do, it'll be able to interact with everything, okay? Let's see. Any news or sneak peeks for inline editing in the Content Hub? Yes. We are currently working on the Svelte architecture for exposing every custom field as a column. You're going to be able to choose which columns you see and don't see. You'll be able to inline edit them here. Anything that requires advanced editing, you'll be able to fire up in a modal and advanced edit it. But it's going to be like, everything is happening right here. That's the Content Hub, because this is where content management happens. It's lightning fast. It's gonna paginate all of these. You're gonna be able to sort and filter them. You're gonna be able to change their order with drag and drop, which also changes their render order on the front end. You'll be able to control, actually you can already do this. You can already control the size of the columns. You'll be able to change the statuses. Everything will be inline editable. I could change the slug right now. Boom, done. That's already piped back into WordPress. Now the slug is sample page 1. So you can change the title. You do whatever you want to do here. All power in your fingertips. You will never have to interact with that awful WP admin dashboard ever again. Okay, let's keep moving. Will we be able to manage post order? 100%. Grab one, drag it, move it, drop it. Look, I'm going to show you this in a, oh, we didn't do components, did we? Okay, let me go back here real quick. I gotta show you one thing, okay? Post categories, posting category, okay? Do we wanna do this one or do we wanna do this? Let's just try this one. Okay? I'm gonna go in here. I'm going to go to this article card, right click, create component, article card, bang. Text is gonna be title. I'm just gonna blow through this real quick. We're gonna go with a image for our featured image, okay? I just want to show you this. Just like you can drag these order, okay? You're gonna be able to do that to posts in the Content Hub. That's what kind of gave in my mind to bring me back here. Now, also though, when you are looping and you're using a component for your loop, you're gonna have static data, like this is title, and then you might have a default image, right? And then we're gonna hit save, and we are going to, I think that's all I need, article, headed, title, whatever, okay? So now we come in and we say item.title here, and we say item.featured image here. Image here, okay? Save, and then let's look at this loop. This loop is passing, let's see, loop, passing codes, category ID as item. That's giving me all of my category IDs. Item dot, did I do it as item? I did it as item, title, item.featured image. Let me see. Okay, we might have to debug here in a second. Item, no, we definitely need curlies. Okay, item.title. All right, edit component. We might need a debug here. Yeah, we do. Okay, so we didn't change these. These have to change to props, because you're needing to reference this prop, not, you can't go straight to the loop data. You gotta drive the loop data through the prop, right? So now I come here, this is going to be, I can still have a static image, but I need to not have item, okay? It's props.featured image. So I'm driving all of the dynamic data out here through props into the component. That's the one adjustment you have to make when you turn something into a component. You can't just reference the loop data like you were before, because now you have this encapsulated thing and you got to pass that data in, and you do that through the props, okay? So we're back to here, but I wanted to show you the drag and drop. So as easy as this, right? You're gonna be able to do that to posts in the Content Hub. This is our new drag and drop architecture right here that we've been working on. And it's not just changing the order here, it's changing it like, okay, so let me put featured image first, and then let's hit save. And I go exit. Look, featured image is first down here. We go WordPress, right? Okay, it's all gonna start rendering. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. The block editor is a little eh. But if I go here and I look in here, loop, I mean, we've got a lot going on here. Article, loop, okay, item, bang, there's my article card. Look, I've got the featured image right here, okay? The client can edit these components, right? This is a synced pattern in Gutenberg. Client can edit these components, change the title, change the image. However, this is a scenario where obviously you don't want Bev messing with this, right? So we're gonna have the ability to shut that down, right? Say, no, not this time, not this one, okay? So you're gonna be able to determine what they can and cannot access in terms of props over here. And then that would consistently render this thing correctly. So, all right. But anyway, that's the drag and drop. You're gonna be able to do that in the Content Hub. Let's try to move quick. Does Etch have the ability to create accordion loops at the moment? You can loop anything. Anything that can be created with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript can also interact with loops. Yes, you can do carousels. You can do looped modals. You can do accordions. You can do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Can you cover advanced custom fields integration? There's nothing to cover. Okay, so look, item.title, let's say, or where's my description? Where's my description? Wasn't that on, let's go to loops. We did one category, CPTs right here, bang, okay? Pretend that this item.etch.service description, pretend that that service description was a custom field created with ACF instead of Etch. You wanna know how you change it? That's it. So it's gonna be in an ACF object. And so you're just gonna say, that data belongs in ACF, okay? That's where you get it from. I'm getting my data from Etch, Metabox, Jet Engine, whatever they do, I don't know. But that's the thing, that's why you have a JSON output preview, because in the output preview, if you weren't here when I showed this, let me go back to Etch, okay? Let me grab that loop. Let me go look at this. Here's the output of that loop, right? That's our services loop. And so I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna see, there's the object, okay? So I zoom in, telling me the object key. This would say ACF. If you had made that in ACF, if you had made it in Metabox, it'd probably say Metabox, but it's telling you what the key is, and then you just drill down, okay? So when I did it, my description, item, that comes from the loop, Etch, that's the first key in the preview. And then this is the service description, the second key nested inside of Etch, all right? Same thing every time, repeat, rinse and repeat. Where are the ARIA labels? Okay, great question. Let's go to Content Hub and let's go to loops and let's go to one of those cards, post in category, okay? Here we go. So we're gonna edit this component right here. Here's my article card. I'm gonna go to my media. This needs an ARIA label perhaps, right? Or an alt, here's an alt tag. Now there's two ways I can do this. I can edit HTML or Command Enter, Alt equals, and I can write whatever I want. This is an attributes bar. You can write classes, IDs, alts, ARIAs, whatever you need to do here. And I'm just gonna say, because this is props, right? This is a component. I'm gonna say props.title. I'm gonna hit save. Let's actually add that. Let's go to, I just wanna make sure it got put on there real quick. Okay, let's try that again because I hit save too quick. Alt equals, let's go props.title, and I need to hit add here. Look, it put it in, alt equal props.title. I can now save my component. I can now exit out. Let's go to the front end. Let's right click, inspect. Doesn't matter whether it's an alt, ARIA, wherever. So this says alt equals travel article 2. I can also pull the alt from the media library in WordPress if I want to. That is available data. But that's how you dynamically put alts, ARIAs, whatever you want to put on here. Easy, easy. Okay. Why is the image wrapper getting the figure tag? Because that's how figures work. So we inspect it. You put images inside of figures. So there's a figure. There's the image inside of it. This is how figures work. A figure is a box. That's it. Like I did a page building 101 course. One of the lessons is literally called Everything is a Box. And it teaches you, like, that was a div. Difference between a div and a figure is the word inside the tag. That's it, okay? So it's just a div, it's a container, put things in, but it's a semantic container. Has a special meaning. What's the difference between thumbnail and featured image? That's gonna be resolution. So thumbnail is very small in WordPress. It's like a WordPress generated version of an image. And I believe it's like whatever is in your thumbnail media settings or whatever. I never use it. Landing pages should be a CPT. Please elaborate. Perfect. Great question. I'm going to go in here. Let's say you're about to run PPC ad campaigns for your client. Client's like, hey, Kevin, we got to get something going on the PPC front. Okay, we're getting murdered by our competition out here with Google ads, right? We got to get in the game, Kevin. We got to get in the game. All right, so you are going to have a bunch of PPC landing pages, right? What I would personally do, I would come into the Content Hub, I would go custom post types, I would go either landing pages or PPC pages, something like this, PPC page and PPC pages, it'll do that by default, but has archive? Nope, don't want it to have an archive, and I'm gonna create a custom post type. I now have this area where I can go like page A, create, and then page B, right? And I could create, and I've suddenly got this area where it's compartmentalized away from everything else, which means, by the way, I can automatically no index that entire custom post type. I don't have to do it on a post by post basis. I can make sure that custom post type does not show up in my sitemap. I have global control over this group of content. It is a type of content. And anytime you have a type of content, it should be a custom post type. Phenomenal flexibility. I can template these now. I can go into the template manager, right? Look at this. It's right there waiting for me. It already recognized I created it. I can come in and say, I need a single PPC page template. Now I edit it. Oh my God, look, I'm here. Now I'm building a template for my PPC. Like, that is the workflow you wanted. The idea that those would be pages, what a nightmare. What a nightmare. That's a mandatory 5-year sentence. Felony, 100%. That's not a misdemeanor, that's a felony. If I take, you got me choked up. If I take over a project and you've put 17 PPC pages in pages, I'm calling the cops. It's bottom line. But somebody's got to get notified. Somebody's got to get notified of that. Okay, let me keep it. Oh my God, we have a laundry list of questions. All right, I'm gonna stay a little extra. Is it possible to keep the loops JSON preview visible next to the HTML editor to see available property values? Yeah, we're working on a whole new UI is coming for the mini loop panel, right? So if I go quickly back to here and go to my loops and just choose one, posting category, something like this, and I click on loop. So this little panel right here, whole new UI experience coming for this for sure. And the answer pretty much is yes. Well, here's the other thing. You're not gonna need it. Here's my vision. My vision is, here I'm creating my article card, or my category, whatever. I've got 2 loops going on here, okay? I'm gonna go in, and I don't know what a key is, okay? See where it says props.title? Okay, there's gonna be a little icon right here for dynamic data. I'm gonna click that. It's gonna go, it's whatever computations it needs to do. It's gonna see what loop I'm in, and it's gonna suggest a bunch of keys. And it's gonna be like, maybe you want this one. And I'm just gonna go in and be like, yeah, that one right there. And it's gonna insert it, okay? So you're not gonna need to like go back and forth, and you're not really gonna need to even see it all that much, because it's gonna just auto-suggest it for you. So keep in mind that is coming. There's a lot of it. This is guys, we are in, keep in mind how relatively easy this is and powerful. And just remind yourself, this is 10 months. This is not even version 1. This is barely alpha, right? So constantly remind yourself of that. This is not the finished product. This is not the final workflow. This is like, when I say, bing, bam, boom, like it's gonna get even easier. It's hard to express how easy. But it's going to continue. Is it possible to query external data in the query loop, like a Supa-based table? Very soon. Yes, very soon. Nested loop example walkthrough, please. I second that request. Okay, we did that. We did the nested loop. Can you loop through the meta or site option? For example, if you had an option that stored a repeating list, would a Subkeys, okay. So go to docs.etchwp.com, go to dynamic data, go to dynamic data keys. Okay, here's all of your available keys. You have user keys, site keys, URL keys, okay? A lot of good docs here to check out. And there's more coming every single week, pretty much. Yeah. The access to dynamic data will not be a problem in Etch. If it is needing to be accessed, it will be accessible. Can we have a function to loop the saved loops when playing with Etch? The amount of times I've accidentally edited the wrong loop and ruined things is ridiculous. Well, one is you have to get, you just have to get in a flow, right, of understanding how it behaves. But here's one way we're guarding against it. When I add a new loop to the page, it should, I could show you the Figma. It's gonna ask you, like, do you want a loop you already have, or do you want to create a new loop, you know? So right off the bat, right now, it just gives you an existing loop, and then if you just start editing it, yeah, you're messing one of your loops up, right? So we're gonna solve that with like a little interstitial that's essentially gonna be like new loop or save loop. And then you choose, and now you're in a mode of like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know what's going on here. I think most of your problem comes from the fact that when you add the loop element, it's already an existing loop given to you, and you think it might be a new loop, and you start editing it, and yeah, you're messing up a saved loop for sure. So we'll fix that. Don't worry about it. Can you loop from a custom taxonomy or ACF yet? I got to double check with the team. I don't know if custom taxonomies are supported, but they will be very, very soon. It's obviously very important. I use custom taxonomies all the time, so yeah. For the save loops we have in the panel, can we use them to load radio buttons in custom fields? For example, loop through all the taxonomies and load them as radio buttons. That is just dynamic data that's in the database. We're gonna have, when you create props like this, you're gonna have many, many, many more props. And the select prop, for example, will have, I guess, like presets where you could be like, okay, I want the categories of X loop to be the options of this select box or whatever, right? So yeah, a lot of flexibility is coming there. More props are coming, like an SVG prop, a repeater prop, like a bunch of stuff, okay? It's fun. Every week there's new stuff shows up. It's like Christmas every single week. You're like, oh my God, new stuff to play with. In Loop Manager output preview, is there a hidden copy values? I've not spotted it. It's actually a bit janky to copy out manually to be using an LLM or whatever. I don't know. I've never tried to copy it out. Let's go to, yeah, because I think it's because it's not writable. It's preview only. Let me see. Let's just get partial. Okay, let's see what actually pastes. Yeah, I guess you're right. So I think because we cut it off to editing, so you can't actually like interact in there, we'll have to make it so you can still copy it out, or add an icon that just says copy and boom, it's on the clipboard. That might be a possibility. That's a good catch. I would go into the Etch community right now and create a post about that so we don't lose track of it, and we'll get on that. How can I loop only categories that have posts, not the ones with 0 posts? What about more than a specific number of posts? This is fantastic, Manny. Literally, I could tell you the answer, but it's not gonna help you in all the different scenarios. That's why I mentioned that this format is so important, okay? You can go to any LLM and literally ask it that exact question. And it'll be like, oh, you need to add this, 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 this. Then you add those things, boom, you're done. Like it solves the problem for you. And of course, this is gonna be native in Etch in the future. But those are the exact kinds of questions where just turn to the LLM. It knows WordPress PHP loop architecture. It can answer those questions for you very easily. How to exclude posts based on categories. That's same exact question. Guaranteed you feed that to Claude or Grok or Gemini or whoever, and it's gonna tell you exactly what to change here or add, and it's gonna give you the loop output that you want. Let's see. How exactly would you loop an ACF relationship field? Example, FAQs related to a specific service. I can't do that now because we're out of time. I did it in a previous video. It's very easy. I'll essentially give you the answer right here, okay? In this JSON data, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see one of these, and it's gonna say relationship. And then it's gonna tell you the related objects, and you just drill down into it, okay? The same way we've done with the keys in the examples so far. But I guarantee if you go make the relationships and link them up and then go create the loop, you're gonna look at this and you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. It shows up right there and you're gonna see exactly how to access it. There's support for relationships, repeater fields, all that stuff is currently supported. Will Etch be able to create an options page? Yes, you will be able to go into the, let me get out of here, go into the loop manager and, I'm sorry, not the loop manager, the content hub. And instead of custom post types, you're gonna see custom taxonomies for creating custom taxonomies. You're gonna see custom fields, and then you're gonna see options pages or similar, right? Hit it, put it in, add a custom field group, assign it to it, put your custom fields in, you got an options page. And that's exposed, obviously, in WP admin, because none of this is proprietary. This is core WordPress. Everything that you are looking at is written to core WordPress. Nothing is Etch specific. It's possible to loop user metadata and subloop related CPT. Yes. Where's the JSON stored in database or file system? Right now, I believe it's stored in the database. We can make it probably file system supported. Will there be able to, that would be part of that enterprise package where it's like version control, Git integration, things like that. Will these be able to be exposed in more than one place, e.g. options? Yes. If we use Google Sheets to store a lot of data, it will hit some API limits. If that's a concern, then don't use Google Sheets. You could use Supabase. You could use whatever you want. Any external source that's accessible, has an API, we can get into it. Can Etch please operate my coffee machine as well? We're not there quite yet. Maybe in 2.0. How can I loop only category? Okay, that one we got to. Will future Etch functionality cover what admin columns does on the client-facing side? Yes, you won't need admin columns. You won't need facet plugins. You won't need SEO plugins because you're gonna be able to do your SEO right here. You're gonna be able to do your title tag, your meta description. You're gonna be able to do the visibility. You're gonna be able to, everything that all that basic on-page shit, the SEO plugins are not, they're not complicated. They're not complicated. All that's gonna be doable right here. This Etch replaces probably 7 different classes of plugins. Like ACF, Metabot, not gonna need those anymore. Yeah, it's nice. Okay. Can we get zoom in option in code writing panels, please? Zoom in option. I don't know what that means. You can zoom in with your browser at any time. There's a lot of ways to zoom. I zoom on here all the time. Is it possible to loop through multiple types of posts? So anything you're asking with loops, I mean, there may be a not quite yet kind of answer, but it's every scenario you can think of is going to be possible. Nested loop situation where outer loop loops through post types, inner loops output posts for each additional post type. Yeah, these are all possible. Can we remove the base URL from the CPTs to avoid plugins like remove CPT base? Yes, that will be an option. I hate that as well. However, I will say it is better architecture to leave the slug. The only time you want to remove it typically is when you did the old school blog slug in the main thing in WordPress settings and it attached it to everything. You obviously need to remove blog from services and all that, but that's not going to be a problem in Etch. We're gonna fix all that nonsense for you. But like you want it to be /services and then the service URL, /blog and the articles, /team and the team member. That is good architecture. That is better architecture. It's better for SEO. It's better for analytics. In the old days, they'd be like, no, flatten it, flatten it, flatten it. No. Fuck all that. You need good architecture. The crawlers rely on that architecture, and then your analytics, like try to go into your analytics and ask the question, how much is blogging helping us? I only want to see analytics for my blog posts. Well, if none of your articles are in /blog, how in the world are you going to, like, that's just a nightmare. Why create that nightmare for yourself? If I have /blog, I can instantly see all analytics regarding every URL with /blog, right? It's just good architecture. Let's see. Funnel landing pages using the system multiple pages, for example, opt-in landing and thank you pages. Okay, great question. Funnel landing pages usually consist of multiple pages, for example, opt-in, landing, and thank you pages. How would you handle that with the current CPT structure, which only supports a single landing page? So what you would do is you would go to custom post types and you would see PPC pages and you would see hierarchical. Boom, hit that. Now, if you have like, when we go to PPC pages, right? Page A can have a sub page called thank you. Can have a sub page called go check your email. Could have any sub pages that belong to A can now be nested under A. And now you have a parent-child relationship for all of your PPC pages. So that is a possibility as well. You can set up that kind of architecture. When you anticipate looping being solid enough for production sites being ready? We're already using it. I mean, this is, if I just go to Etch WP, okay, Etch WP, this is a loop right here, okay? I go to articles, that's a loop. I go to changelog. That's an archive page with a loop. I click on a changelog, an individual. This is a single post template with a loop inside of that post for, this is pulling a repeater field. This is an ACF repeater field right here. That's what this is, okay? So that is a loop with an ACF repeater field. This is, it's done. It's a done deal. We're already doing it. It's already live. It already exists. It already works. Since we can loop Woo products, can we get just the most basic templates working so I can build my Woo sites in Etch? Take the template. The only thing, yeah, I mean, if they had a block editor based checkout page, it's a done deal. You can already put an e-commerce website together because you can already loop through products. You can already loop through prices. You can probably already, you might need the whatever's required for the cart functionality. You know, I haven't done it yet, so. But I have pulled sample WooCommerce data for sure. So you're like very close already. And anything like if the cart is block editor capable, it will render through Etch. So you should be able to do it. Theoretically, it might not be the best workflow, but you could do it. Let's see. Is it possible to loop through multiple types of post types like loop? Yes. Isn't it also a risk to be that close to Gutenberg? What if something groundbreaking has changed? I know you can fix it, but an instant break in a site. No, I mean, we could, well, the thing you have to understand about Gutenberg, the worst aspect of Gutenberg is that they never break backward compatibility. Like, I mean, obviously they make some mistakes from time to time, but those are usually fixed quickly. But like literally there's two Gutenbergs. Did you know that? There's two Gutenbergs. There's a non-iframe Gutenberg and an iframe Gutenberg. This is their commitment. They have a commitment, like the strongest commitment I've ever seen, not just to mediocrity, but to backward compatibility. They never break anything. And that kind of does work to our advantage. Why is Etch so good? 2 reasons, 3 reasons. There's 3 reasons why Etch is good. Let's see if I can get through all 3. I'm just making them up on the spot. These are 3 that come to mind, okay? Number 1 is that the people building it are actually web developers and designers. Like they actually build sites. We're not just sitting around going, what might be good? What might be a good feature? Or, oh, let's just copy Webflow, or let's just copy Bricks, or let's just copy what they're doing. We're literally sitting around going, we know what people need to be able to do. We know how it sucks because we see all these other things that it's not great. You know, we're always complaining like, why is it this way? Why is it this way? Why is it this way? So we're actually solving problems. That's number 1. We're actual users solving problems for ourselves that end up solving problems for other people. That's number 1. Number 2 is we're building in a very, very, very agile fashion. Weekly releases where we can, and we release partial releases. We're not afraid of like, guys, this is not done yet. Girls, this is not polished yet, okay? Use it and let us know what's good about it and what's not great about it. And then the next week, 1, we know we're going in the right direction. Because what a lot of people do is they might spend a month or 2 months on a feature. They're like, oh, we can't release it yet. I mean, it's just not usable yet. All these excuses. And then 2 months go by, and they release it. And everybody goes, this sucks. And then you're like, fuck. Then they got to go back to the drawing, 2 months down the drain, just wasted, right? Everything's got to be refactored, re-architected, redesigned. What a waste of time. No, the faster you release it, the faster you get people looking at it, the faster you're able to, one, verify you're doing the right thing, and then two, pivot and adjust as you release the thing, okay? That's what we've always done. And that brings me to number 3, because we have the best community. We don't have how do I put this? Like, how do I put this? You can't really put this in a nice fashion. Like, if you have a community of like the bottom of the barrel, you were like, well, our thing is we want everybody that doesn't know what they're doing. That's who we want as our customer. Well, those people can't help you very much. Like, if you're asking for feedback, they don't know. It's like asking Bev. They don't know, okay? Our community is not like that. Our community is a much higher tier, like professionals and developers and people who know what the hell they're doing, and like they're opinionated and they know. And so when we ask them things, we get very valuable feedback back. And so that really helps us. Not every community can do that, because if you attract the wrong kind of people, you know, they can't help you that much. So yeah, that's those are the 3 things. That's if I was gonna boil it down, 3 big things, that would be why. When will we have more basic elements like sliders, tabs, etc.? Okay, great question, Charis. 2 answers for you. Number 1, obviously those things are gonna come from us on a certain timeline. However, we are about to start working on import-export for components, which means that anybody that is using Etch will either give you or sell you versions of those things, like really good ones, okay? So somebody will come out and be like, look at this badass component slider that I just created. Yeah, I know Etch's team's working on one, but here's what I built. Do you want it? And they might give it to you for free. They might give it to you for $10. They might give it to you, I don't know. They might build packs of them. They might, whatever. So we're gonna enable the community to build whatever, and you're gonna be able to use whatever you want, or you can wait for hours, which will be native. And those will be elements in Etch. So to give you an idea, right? You are inside of the builder right here, and you're like, I want to add a carousel. Okay, so you're going to click probably this plus sign right here, which right now brings up your components in some sort of temporary UI, but it will bring up a panel with all the rest of your elements. And I'll just give you a preview of what's happening down here. These are going to be like your quick access elements. So if you were like, Kevin, I never use the div. I always use flex div. I never use the div. Well, you're going to be able to open the elements drawer and take an element that maybe you do use very often and replace this div with it. Just drag it down here and drop it. It's almost like this toolbar right here. Like, okay, I don't use this app. All right, I'm going to go options, remove from, okay, I don't need to see it there. Very similar concept of like you're able to tailor the elements that you see down here, and then have a drawer of all the elements, like woo elements, form elements, whatever happens to be installed in your site, you're gonna have access down there. So yes, all of that is coming in the future. Etch is not responsive on older iOS versions. How can this be fixed by default? It is responsive. It's absolutely responsive. It's CSS and HTML. There's nothing special happening, okay? What you might be seeing is that when I do things like this article grid, where I use the new range syntax, if you are using a browser that doesn't support range syntax, then you're not gonna see grid 3 at greater than 768, all right? If I change that to min width 768, it would start working for you. Now, I would say, okay, let's go to can I use, okay, range syntax, okay, 92.36%. Whenever this number says 92 plus, my answer becomes update your browser. It's not on me to keep using old ass techniques, but that's a personal decision. That's a decision I make, right? Because I think you need to get with the program. That's what I think. And by the way, if you are not seeing, let me just tell you this, for your own personal benefit, okay? If you are not seeing a feature that is 92.36% supported, I can't tell you how many security violations you have in that browser version, right? You are so out of date. You are so tremendously out of date. You got bigger problems to worry about than not seeing my 3-column grid. I'll tell you that right now, okay? All right. Let's see here. Let's go. I'm just gonna go to chat. We've flown through all the questions here. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely build in fallbacks as well. Absolutely not worth the time. Very important to make it easy for a customer to just upload an image and not have to think about file size and format. Yeah, so you're not gonna have to. You're not gonna have to. Let me tell you what's coming for the media manager. We're gonna build in a free tokenless processor. This is my vision for it. There's two ways to do image optimization in Etch in the future. One is it ships natively with something like Squoosh. Okay, Squoosh is open source. Squoosh does not rely on server resources. There's no tokens, there's no server resources. This uses your local machine to optimize images. Downside is you can only do one at a time, but it's fine. You upload an image, boom, does it, okay? So there will be a native, free, tokenless image optimizer in Etch that you can turn on. You can tell it, hey, if I upload a 5,000 pixel image, I want you to max it out at 2440 or 1920 or whatever it happens to be. So anytime you upload an image, it catches it, it optimizes it for you, you're done. Then there's gonna be an optional, probably a token-based image optimizer. Like you have, what is my headphones doing? Hopefully you guys can't hear that. It's like cutting in and out. Yeah, that's really annoying. Okay, let's find a spot where it doesn't do it. Okay. And so you'll have like a short pixel type thing where you would have tokens and it would use server probably send it back to our server and then exactly like how something like short pixel or I think a Magify, some of these other services work, but you would be able to set that up natively inside of Etch. So if Bev comes along, because you know Bev gonna grab some 10,000 megabyte file and she's gonna try to drop it in, and then what, right? Etch is gonna catch it and be like, Bev, all right, we got you, Bev. And it's gonna scale it down, it's gonna optimize it, and it's gonna be totally fine. All right. You can hear it? You can hear that. I think it's just my headphones though. I don't know why you'd be able to hear it. Okay, I don't know. It stopped right now, so hopefully it stays stopped. Doesn't the investor license I got include some kind of special element market situation? Yeah, there's gonna be a marketplace. So let me explain the component situation. See if you guys can hear that. It's gonna be super annoying. Okay, so the marketplace is going to be what's a good word for it? A vetted marketplace. So if somebody has like a pack of components, let's say they manufactured the dopest carousels, accordions, modals, all these, they want to give you these dope components, they can sell those to you on the black market, let's call it, okay? Like however they want to do it, like PayPal, Stripe, whatever, cash in a back alley, however you want to go get that from them, you'll be able to get them and install them, and you can use them. Now, will they be vetted? No. Will that be used at your own risk? Yeah. Can that be like an element or, the element or add-on situation where it's like, oh my God, what are we gonna get here? Is this gonna absolutely nuke my site or is it gonna be great? You never know. That's part of the fun of Elementor. You never know. There will be some of that in Etch, except Etch will have an official marketplace. And if they want the exposure of the official marketplace and they want the security and you want the security of knowing this shit's not gonna nuke my site, okay? It's been looked at, it's been vetted, then they're gonna submit it to us and our team is gonna go look at it and be like, all right, that's some quality shit. And we're gonna accept it into the marketplace. And then you're gonna be able to go through and buy things from the marketplace knowing that it's high quality, that it's accessible, that like we're gonna put it through accessibility audits. So if there's accessibility issues, we're gonna turn right around and be like, nope, you gotta fix this, 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 and this before we'll accept it in the marketplace. So the entire goal is that you are able to purchase from the marketplace knowing, okay, this is high quality, it's been professionally vetted, I know it's gonna work, it's gonna be seamless, it's gonna be great. If you buy outside of the marketplace, I mean, that's possible, you can do it, but it does obviously come with greater risk. Just don't move your head. Okay, you can hear a buzz. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, these headphones are garbage. They are, look at this. I just wanted you to know we don't mess around. This is not some Yuko logo, you know, whatever, like Chinese, you know, Amazon $16 headphone. That's not what we're rocking here. I tried to make the right decision. I tried to go higher end. Maybe I should have gone with the Chinese. The Chinese one would probably work right now. It would probably work. That's it. I'm switching to it. We're just having fun at this point. We're just hanging out now. Will there be a code signing feature in Etch similar to Bricks? That's why PHP authoring, yeah, we're gonna have to call it a day soon. I think the headphones are just tapping out. Yeah, that's why PHP authoring is not available yet, because there are massive security implications, and we have to, number one, make sure that there's no security issues. Number two, make sure that it's not a fucking nightmare, right? The code signing thing, if we can avoid that, I will avoid that at all costs, okay? There's got to be a better way, because that is annoying as it can possibly get. In Bricks, all that code signing stuff, tremendously annoying. So yeah, we gotta slow down on the PHP thing and make sure that we implement it in a really, really good way. That's why you can do JavaScript and everything else, but PHP is still not here. It's a little more complicated. Can I query JSON sources? Yes, go back and watch the JSON section, and then there will be support for external sources for sure. As Manny said, please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Like if you're not an Etch user, maybe you're like, hey, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to buy. That's totally fine. Totally fine. Okay. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content. Because the more you see, the more you're gonna like. That's why I don't have to really sell anymore. Right? When Etch didn't exist, I had to really sell people on the vision. Like you gotta do a lot of vision casting, and it just, guys, you gotta trust me. I don't have to do that anymore. Literally, all I have to do is get on here and use it, and people watch me use it, and they go, It's kind of a conclusion. It's just an objective conclusion. There's no selling required. It's just which is fun for me, because now I just get on and rant and use it. We're gonna have to tap out these. Sure, I need a spot. We're definitely not getting sponsored by Shure on this one. Okay, I don't know what else to do. We gotta ditch it. Wow, it's getting worse and worse. We gotta ditch it in the ocean. All right, I love you guys. I appreciate you for coming. We stayed 30 minutes extra. As you can see, they want us to leave. YouTube is done with us, okay? Hey, spare a cash, I'm going right now. I'm ordering them right after this stream.